Now, few can deny that at least publicly, the main opposition PDP has continued to fracture, while the ruling APC appears to be gaining in strength and in the trappings of power. Members of the PDP themselves will tell you that after so many conflicts and so much distrust and division, the party needs revolutionary reforms to help restore it to the place of glory where it once was all those years ago. But now, with the presidential election just 2 years away, the PDP appears to have woken up and is attempting to reach deep inside its soul to try to rouse what's left of its reserves of industry. It set up a 7-man strategic committee led by the former Senate President Bukola Saraki to meticulously examine all the issues and the sticking points and chart an audacious way forward for the party. Whatever they come up with by way of a resolution will be a critical barometer for the public and for members of the PDP. The question is, given how badly the PDP has been wounded, does the committee have the bandwidth to carry out the kind of radical surgery that will not only eliminate the current crisis, but chart a more ebullient future for the party? With more on this, I'm suitably delighted to say that I'm joined now in the studio by the Senate Minority Leader and Senior Member of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Abba Moro. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
Another group of defectors, 3 PDP senators from Kebbi State, defected to the APC, including, of course, Adamu Aliero, a former governor. Do you feel a sense of dismay and betrayal that all these people who won their seats on the platform of the PDP are abandoning the party in its time of greatest need?
Well, I think ordinarily, yes. Most of us in the PDP, especially in the Senate caucus of the PDP, feel a little disappointed, and it's unfortunate that very senior members of the party have decided to move away from the PDP to the ruling party. And of course, if you look at the trajectory of Nigerian politics, it is not a particularly unusual development, because certain persons who find it difficult to live out of the corridors of power usually migrate from one party to the other. Don't forget that the 3 senators that you talk about now originally were members of the ruling APC, and it was at the point where they were unable to get the ticket of the APC that they gravitated towards the PDP, and PDP graciously offered them the platform to win election. And don't forget that the Supreme Court has been very unequivocal about who people vote for, namely that it is the party that people usually vote for during elections. But again, the reality on ground is that these people, the senators, the 3 senators from Kebbi, have decided to move back to the APC. Again, like I said, it's not unusual, because time was when even former Governor Duahan left the PDP to the APC, and then went back from the APC to the PDP, and now has gone back to the APC. And so, in my local parlance, and in those days, in our local environment, we call those people food-is-ready politicians.
Well, what it tells the public, who are the voting public, who are counting on you, as well as the APC, as the people that they vote for to give them leadership and deliver the dividends of democracy to them, the impression that is given is that none of you can be trusted.
I think basically that is what it is. And it's a very, very unfortunate development, like I said, because at the end of the day, a sizable number of the Nigerian public will characterize all politicians as the same politicians. But I can tell you for free here, I have been a member of the PDP from its formation in 1998. I was one of the first series of officials elected on the platform of the PDP on December 8, 1998, when I got elected as the chairman, the executive chairman of my local government. And I've been here. I've never moved. I don't intend to move, because I believe...
Well, that rather answers my next question, because I was going to say, when can we expect your defection? Because, well, I mean, you know, whether you've been forging your contacts to that effect.
Well, if you want to recall, when some of our members and members of the NMPP defected, I told them that, look, you in the PDP, you were in the center of activities in the Senate, on the other eye, but today you have defected to the APC, and they have gone to hide you in one corner of the Senate chamber. And so today I am the minority leader of the Senate, elected on the platform of the PDP. I have a comfortable place there. I can't imagine myself now, like these itinerary politicians that we're witnessing now, moving from my house to go and live in the boys' quarter of another person's house.
But of course, beyond what you yourself have enjoying by way of your prominent position in the Senate, it doesn't portray the PDP in the best light, does it? I mean, beyond the fact that we're talking about the fact that you've got this traffic of politicians who kind of move to and fro, you know, from one party to the other. I mean, they would make the argument, and certainly in the public mind, it is a plausible argument, that the PDP is really falling apart, and that anybody who's a part of it really can't depend on the party as a credible vehicle to compete against the APC in 2027.
Well, maybe you can call it a plausible argument, but I can say that it's an irresponsible argument, because here we are, whatever is happening to the PDP now is within the responsibility of leaders of the party to bring it back.
Yeah, but they haven't managed to do that, which is why people keep leaving.
Your house is on fire.
Yeah.
You don't abandon the house. You put the fire off. And so...
Well, it depends on how bad the fire is. Well, if your house has been consumed by fire, there's no point hanging around,
yes,
is there?
No matter how bad the fire is, if the fire raises the house completely, it is your responsibility to rebuild the house.
Well, you may not rebuild it in the same place.
Well, you may not rebuild it in the same place, but you can rebuild your house to live in it.
But it becomes a different house, doesn't it?
Even if your house is not burnt and you desire a new house in modern design, you can build a new house. But in the present circumstances, let me tell you, in the present circumstances, the PDP may appear at the moment, given the crisis rocking the party, given the defections and conflicts that engulf the party, the PDP remains a very viable alternative vehicle for competitive elections in Nigeria. The PDP is a very, very strong and broad-based brand.
It was a very strong
and
broad-based brand.
Let me let you know here, if you have not read some of the pieces in the news media in recent times, in Kano, for instance, the boys have come out to say their senator has defected, but that he should know that they are not yes boys. And so they went back to their base and said, look, we're back home. We are not part of this defection that has taken place. I also want to inform you here that even when it is purported to be a massive defection in Delta State, I can tell you for free here that the electorate, members of the party at the various levels in Delta State, I say, hey, we are in PDP. We are not going anywhere. And even those that purport to have defected from the PDP are finding it very difficult to write their names down and register as APC.
Well, I don't think Delta State is the best example to use for you, because I mean, it was a mass walkout, and when all your elected officials are gone, I mean, it's just the rump of the party left. What does it matter whether they stay or they don't?
On the face of it, yes. On the face of it, yes. I can tell you here again that a senator who felt manipulated out of the whole process of the congresses that took place in Delta State walked away from the PDP and into APC. The manipulator that was apparently fingered as the governor at that time has again moved to the APC. And he has been pronounced the leader of the party in the APC. And so I can tell you here, therefore, that the whole process of the congresses organized in Delta State was intended, ab initio, to show some strength when eventually they decided to move to the APC. Right. And so today, the dilemma here is this. You left your party to the APC, angered by the process that threw up those executive committee members. You have gone to APC. The man who you claim to have manipulated that process has come back to APC and has assumed leadership of the APC. And so what ordinarily
you're hoping they'll kill
expect is that a time will come where there will be implosion.
Right.
And when that happens, there will be explosion.
Well, that's what you hope. But let's concentrate on your party at the moment, because we're also hearing that the Southeast PDP collectively held a meeting in Enugu at the Governor's Lodge and chose Sunday Udokoye to complete the term of the National Secretary. They said that if their choice is not respected and implemented, the Southeast PDP as a group will reconsider its relationship with the PDP. What's your reaction to that? Because it sounds like a new crisis and a new battlefront opening up in the PDP.
Well, let me explain here that when Senator Anyanwu went to contest for governor, he expected to win by the constitution of the party, because you cannot hold dual positions in the party and in government. If he had won and became the governor and assumed office as governor, definitely automatically you will expect that he had resigned from the position of national secretary. When he went to contest, the Southeast caucus of the party rose from a meeting, nominated Udokoye as his replacement. And Anyanwu went to court. And the Supreme Court came with a verdict that all those processes, especially the court processes, that threw up Udokoye as a replacement for Anyanwu, were set aside. And that it is the responsibility of the party to choose who their leaders are or who their officials are. That is the point that we're in here. And so the Southeast caucus of the party have been meeting to fashion out and navigate a route towards satisfying the requirements of the judgment of the Supreme Court. Good and fine. I think that the unfortunate thing here is the threat of reviewing their relationship with the party if their positions are not accepted. In the first place, the choice of Udokoye from the Southeast was accepted by the NWC of the party. And Udokoye was accepted pending ratification by the neck of the party. But before the neck of the party met, the Supreme Court came up with this bombshell judgment. And so all that we are required to do as leaders of the party is to find a way towards satisfying the requirements of that judgment.
Right.
And so it's not a matter of threatening to review your relationship and the rest of them, because at the moment, it is not the party that is responsible for whatever is happening to Udokoye, a nominee of the Southeast. It is the court. And as a law-abiding organization, we should be prepared to accept the judgment of the court as it pertains to our organization. But let me tell you this. Very soon, the party has lined up activities ranging from the neck. And because of these seeming threats coming from members of the party in its wisdom has set up a 7-man committee headed by Bukola Saraki.
I was going to come to that.
Yes, to ensure that the roots are smoothened towards the holding of the neck this month on the 27th. And in August, again, barely 3 months away, we are going to have a national convention where new officials of the party are going to be elected. And so I see a bright future for the party if we demonstrate some courage, some political will to properly do the right thing, and then we are back on our winning ways.
Well, I mean, that strategic committee that you're talking about that's headed by Bukola Saraki, I understand that, as you said, they've been charged with preparing for a rancor-free, those are the words used, neck meeting on May the 27th. I mean, that sounds very broad. And I mean, it's literally 2 weeks away, that neck meeting. I mean, unless you're sort of Harry Potter with a magic wand, I'm wondering, first of all, the fact that it's very broad, their remit, and secondly, the fact that you've only got 2 weeks. How are you going to pull it off?
Well, in politics, a day can be a decade. And so...
Well, in your case, it certainly sounds more like a decade, because your crisis has been running for almost 3 years now.
Well, I think that because of the position of the party as an opposition party, the situation in the PDP is more hyped than the situation in other political parties, because this crisis of confidence, these conflicts are visible in all the political parties. Litigations here and there. The APC is in court in several states at the national level. The Labour Party has been immersed in crisis, but because PDP presents a credible alternative as a major opposition, people tend to maybe look more at the PDP and its crisis than the other political parties.
In fairness to people, the PDP is the main opposition party.
Yeah. And so I can tell you here that, yes, the time may look short, but PDP is a voluntary organization. And people who have remained in PDP, committed to the PDP, dedicated to the PDP, definitely will take a cue from the activities of the NWC and the Governors Forum now to fashion a design that within this period we should be able to resolve ourselves or any contending problems.
So you really are confident that this committee can foster unity, paper over deep-seated grievances within the next 2 weeks?
Because, you know, that is what the expectation of the Nigerian people and PDP members had always been. Who will bear the cat? And so, the PDP has started the process. Only 72 hours ago, new members of the Board of Trustees had been inducted. And looking at the array of politicians that were inducted into the BOT, you will imagine that PDP could be coming back to life again, because you never even expected that some of those people were still part and parcel of the PDP. And so, if we have not been able to be aggressively active in resolving some of the conflicts within us, these signals that are coming from the party now indicate a preparedness to fashion out a design that will make us come back again to the PDP of yesteryears.
Did you attend that meeting as sort of the Senate Minority Leader, the most recent meeting they had, where they appointed Bukola Saraki as head of that?
The most recent meeting that was held was essentially a meeting of governors and former governors. So I didn't.
But some other people, I mean, the acting national chairman attended and all the rest of it, and I'm wondering whether they might have extended an invitation to you.
No. An invitation was not extended to the PDP caucus and myself in particular. Right. When I put a call across to the chairman of the Governors Forum, Bala Mohammed, he told me emphatically that actually the meeting was intended solely for governors and former governors. And
Right.
of course, the acting national chairman, because whatever resolutions that would come out of that meeting was going to be
Right.
implemented by them, were invited.
So this is a decisive moment for the PDP. It is fair to say that it is at a crossroads, and if this crisis is not resolved and continues to fester, then it's curtains for the PDP, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I accept that proposition, but again, politics is about interests. And I imagine that as the interests coalesce, when it becomes obvious that unless you unite, reunite, and recommit yourselves, the interests that we have, even as persons, will not be satisfied. And so when it becomes inevitable that the only way to get back to the old PDP is through unity and cohesion, I can assure you that as members committed to the PDP who are not prepared to migrate to other political platforms, we will come together once more and foster a better and more cohesive party organization.
You are, of course, in a unique position in the Senate as the minority leader. So you kind of oversee not just the PDP, but other sort of opposition parties, don't
right.
you? I mean, what sense do you get of the mood in the opposition camp at the moment?
At the moment, I can tell you that members of the opposition party are really feeling some level of frustration at the inability of the leadership of the party to resolve some of the simmering conflicts. And
I'm saying beyond the PDP.
yeah, we rose from a meeting today, for instance, the minority caucus of the parties in the Senate. We rose from a meeting and resolved that we must remain resolute. We resolved to remain committed to the party, and that even if it remained 1, 2 of us within the PDP, we must continue to preach and promote the ideas of the PDP.
Right, but do you feel under pressure, and I'm going beyond just the PDP, talking about the opposition in general, that is in the National Assembly. Do you feel under a lot of pressure from the APC?
Well, I don't, as a person, as an individual, I am not under any pressure from the APC. Of course, jokingly, once in a while, they tell you, when are you coming down? And I say, look, I'm not a hybrid politician. I'm not a migratory politician. I entered politics out of conviction. I'm not a politician by accident. And so I cannot be gravitating from one political platform to the other. Because that essentially is a survival attitude. That in itself shows a lack of commitment to principles and values.
Indeed.
And I am definitely not going to be part of it. And I can tell you a sizable number of senators are not part of that type of attitude. And so we resolve that we will continue to foster the PDP that we know.
Why is
because
it,
unless you are fixated at a particular activity, say the 2027 election, you cannot feel completely lost in the present circumstances, because PDP will outlive its members. PDP will outlive 2027. And so if it is all about His Excellency President Ahmed Bola Tinubu doing another 4 years, I can tell you again here that Nigeria is too integrated to be destroyed by 4 more years of a sitting president, which the Constitution actually guarantees. And the unfortunate aspect of it is that people who are saying we are moving to this party to go and help the president win election, some of them were there even as leaders in their own political parties, say the PDP, and they were not able to deliver the PDP. So again, in your own words, what magic wand do they have to say now that because they have moved to APC, therefore APC will
Well, I
win.
mean, the magic wand is that they've got the power of incumbency. And in the history of Nigerian politics, the power of incumbency has always delivered the presidency, except in one case. And in that case, it was the PDP that was removed from office. But let me ask you this before we let you go. I wonder what happens next now. I mean, you're waiting for the strategic committee to come up with a resolution to sort things out. That is really what everybody is waiting for. Is that right?
Well, the strategic committee is the creation of the leadership of PDP. It is not a one-size-fits-all. It is not as if the strategic committee is not there, that PDP doesn't have the capacity to resolve themselves. It may take some time, no doubt about it. It has taken some time, no doubt about it. But within the context of Nigerian politics today, no matter what has happened, as a large brown name in all nooks and crannies of this country, you have PDP.
Yeah, I understand.
You have members.
Well,
and so I can assure you that, yes, because a committee has been set up with a set target of mitigating all the conflicts within the party,
right,
towards ensuring a hitch-free NEC meeting and a hitch-free convention, that, I mean, it is the conflicts is among PDP members. And PDP members have come together and said, look, 7 of you wise men, go and ameliorate the conflicts within the party and bring us together so that we can hold a hitch-free Congress, a hitch-free NEC meeting, and a hitch-free convention. And out of all these activities, what has been lacking in the PDP is lack of activities along the line. And people were wondering, where are we going to? Where is the direction that we are going?
Right, okay.
And today, activities have been lined up that will culminate in a national convention that will throw up a new set of leadership for the PDP, and we'll take it up from there.
Right, okay. A thorny path to that, so we'll keep an eye out. I want to thank you very much indeed. It's been very, very good talking with you. Senator Abba Moro is the Senate Minority Leader, and he's a senior member of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for having me, and to assure you that very soon, these problems will be over, and PDP will become the formidable opposition that it has always been for the past 10 years.
Well, we'll be watching out for that. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
You're watching Arise Prime Time.